Hi, my name is Stacy Mueller and I am a librarian here at San Jose City College. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about how to evaluate sources. You found a lot of sources probably already in preparation for writing your paper for English 1A. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how to evaluate them and figure out if they're trustworthy, if they're the type of source that you want to use for college level research. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the homepage for the library here at San Jose City College first. I'm taking you here because there's a lot of really useful tools on our website, and one I'm going to show you today is specifically having to do with evaluating sources. So if you were to go ahead and click on right in the middle here, the online research guides, I'm going to open that in a new tab. So the library has actually created kind of small little web pages for a lot of our different disciplines and a lot of our classes in the college. You can see right here in the middle there's a link for English 1A, so we're going to go ahead and go to that. And if you look to the left, you'll see we have a lot of links to pages that we've created that are going to help you in writing your paper. For instance, a link to how to narrow your topic, how to find sources. And then here's one right here for evaluating sources. So there's a lot of different approaches that you could take to evaluating sources, whether they be a website or an article or whatever. One that I really like is looking at the 5 W's, the who, what, when, where, and why. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. I brought you to this page on the library website because I want you to be able to come back to it after today. If you want, if you think, oh, she said something about who or what, you can come back here and you can see what we've covered. Okay, so if you go ahead and click on looking at the 5 W's, and I'm also going to open this again in a new tab. So these are the 5 W methods of evaluating sources, starting with who, and that's who's the author. Who is writing what you're reading? Are they an expert? Do they have the background in that field? Do they have the authority to be writing about that particular topic? Do they know what they're talking about? So you want to think about who's writing it. A lot of times when you search the web, you find websites that don't have listed authors, but then you want to look then to see who's sponsoring the page, who's publishing the page, and see where they're coming from. The next thing is what. What type of document is it? What kind of source is it? Are you looking at a scholarly article? Are you looking at a news article? Is it a blog post? Is it something that's opinion-based? And how does this affect its reliability? And you want to think about that. You also want to think about how that plays into what you're writing and if it's going to support what you're writing as well. The next one is when. When was the information published or updated? If you're doing research on something historical, then articles that are pretty old are a lot of times okay, or even websites as well. But if you have something that's a current event, something that's that's happening right now, for example, the coronavirus, we can talk about that. If you're interested in the coronavirus and how education has been impacted by the coronavirus, then that's something that you would obviously want to only have things maybe within the last year that have been written. And then even then, something written in March 2020 and March 2021, there's a big difference there. A lot happened in that 1 year time period. So you want to think about that, if you have something that's a current event. The next one is where. Where is it published? Is it from a popular magazine where maybe there's not experts writing about it, they're just kind of reporting back? Is it a scholarly journal, publication? Then maybe those are experts that are writing about that. If it's a website, then think about what kind of website it is. If it has a .edu at the end of the URL, then that means it comes from a college or university. It comes from an academic institution. A .gov comes from a government organization or place, whether it be our federal government, maybe our state government, maybe our local government. So you want to think about that, about where it's published, and that really does matter. Remember that a .com, anyone can really publish on a .com, and so if you find a website that is a .com, you want to look at that and think about, okay, really look to see, well, where are these people coming? Where's this person coming from? What's their background? And you would really want to dig into that for sure. The last one is why. Why was it created in the first place? Who's the intended audience? What is the purpose of the author? Is it to educate? Are they trying to persuade people? Are they just sharing their point of view? These are all different approaches to writing and to what they're trying to get across. And which one of these perspectives is useful for you? So you want to think about that. I want to briefly go ahead and open up another tab, because I mentioned the coronavirus, and so let's just do a quick search for a web page. I'm going to do about coronavirus and the impact on education. You can see I have 963 million websites, so that's quite a few. So let's take a look at just the first few that come up here. I have one from UNESCO, who I've heard of. I see one from Harvard, so that's a .edu. I see one here from www.epi.org, which I'm not familiar with, but I like the title, COVID-19 and Student Performance Equity. I like where that's going, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then when we look at this page, we want to think about all those W's, the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why. Right off the bat, I can see that I do have two authors here. Their names are clickable, so I can click on them. It'll probably give me their background. It's the Economic Policy Institute, so I don't know what that is. And I'm not going to click on the about, and the reason is because if you go to a website or a web page and they have an about link, they're going to put on there whatever they want you to think, and maybe they're an upstanding, perfectly fine organization, but maybe they're really not going to tell you the truth. So I think it's really important to maybe go outside of that website and to do a search on the people that are publishing your site. So this is the Economic Policy Institute. So I'm going to put on here Economic Policy Institute, and I'm going to search for Wikipedia because, and I'm doing that because I like Wikipedia for this, because it really gives a lot of times really good background information. It's a good kind of jumping off point. So if I click on this and I look, I can see here, okay, it gives me information on the right-hand side about how long they've been around. It looks like they are a think tank based in Washington, D.C. It looks like I'm reading just in the beginning here, described as presenting a left-leaning pro-union viewpoint on public policy issues. But I mean, I think to me they seem like they're an upstanding enough group for me to maybe use them and trust them and the information they're providing. I'm going to go back to that page again. I would have done the same thing for Emma Garcia and Elaine Weiss here. Rather than clicking on those links, I would have probably searched for them on my own. I probably would have done both. And then the last thing I'm going to do, because I'm running out of time, is go to the bottom of the page to see if they have any references, because references at the bottom of the page is always a good thing. It shows that they're citing where they're getting their information from. I can see here they have a lot of different references, and so I think that's a pretty good sign. So anyway, go back up to the top here. This is a very long page too, I see, with lots of information. Okay, so just briefly going over, we went to the home page for the library, we went to online research guides, and we were able to find this page where we learned about evaluating websites and other sources. We looked at the 5 W's. If you have any questions, you can absolutely chat with our librarians. Our hours are on our homepage for the library, and you can email us as well. Okay, thank you so much.